This is Clarence, and his story. Clarence had a rough start to the apocalypse. His home, void of any useful objects that he could use to help him survive. Searching all the neighbours' houses, he still had no luck. With no weapons to help him, he had to go hand-to-hand combat with the undead. Scratched and bleeding, he had to think fast and rip clothes off the recently deceased for a makeshift bandage. Exhausted and wet, he found a car that another survivor must have left. Taking a chance, he attempted to start it. Third time lucky, and it started. He was on his way. Not knowing his way around the local area was a disadvantage, so he drove through the night in hopes of finding shelter. Face to face with a zombie, only a rickety door between them, he decided to whip up a quick stir-fry instead of finding a weapon. Sneaking out the back door, still in search of necessities, he runs into another local. Taking them out with ease. Finding a watch is a blessing, but time is never on his side. Attempting to lure one Zed at a time, he dispatches the first one, who had clothing that would come in handy to reduce the chance of bites and scratches. Hooked up with his new threads, he decided to see what all the commotion was about. His shelter had been compromised. There was a lot more zombies than he thought originally. With no weapon, he knew it would be a death sentence. A tactical retreat was the only way forward. Using anything he could to get away. Scaling a fence would slow the oncoming attack, but not enough to clear the area. His life flashed before his eyes as he is grabbed by the ankle and forced to the floor. Scrambling to his feet, he dashes, circling around back to his car. An opportunity arises to cook his stir-fry and take care of his rumbling belly. A uninvited visitor enters the house without even knocking. Swiftly taking care of the intruder, he uses what little time he has to gather supplies and tend to his wounds. The frying pan, still hot from being used, made for the perfect weapon in this time of need. Finally, with a weapon in hand, Clarence's confidence had gone through the roof, but this could be his downfall. One lapse of judgment and he suffers 2 scratches in quick succession. Panicking at the thought of what could happen to him, he bandages up and gets in his car to find a safer place. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, he makes a grave error trying to force his car into a gap that it would not fit. The car being stuck, he had no choice but to go by foot. Wandering through the back roads, nothing but trees either side of him, he stumbles across someone else's misfortune. A gun, great at killing, it would be like ringing the dinner bell for all around him. He counted the shells, making sure to keep one spare for himself. Shotgun in hand, he continues forward down the long, endless road. Having no experience with guns, Clarence was useless with them, and chose to avoid any zombies he could. To his surprise, the road was bustling with the undead. Taking any chance he could to rest, but they were not far behind. With the constant pressure, he decided to use the trees for cover and hope he could find civilization. Walking for what seemed a lifetime, he found his oasis. Now able to be out of the rain, he cleaned his bandages. He made his way through the building to find out if anything else had decided to make this home. Being so exhausted, just the sight of a bed made him forget about clearing the area, and he fell into a deep sleep. After awakening, he found most of his wounds had healed with no sign of infection. The rest of the building had very little items that were of use: a tent, some food, better clothes, and a book to help. Turning on the radio was one way to keep the boredom away, and reading to get valuable information was only going to make survival easier. The calm did not last long. A zombie burst through the window. Clarence jumped to his feet in his haste to kill it. The repercussions of shooting the shotgun didn't set in until it was too late. Having compromised the oasis, he had no choice but to head out into the forest. Zombies on a dirt road was a pleasant sight after walking through trees. It inspired hope that there must be a building nearby. Finding a hockey stick would make it easier to clear the area in silence. Spotting a bigger building, he was drawn towards it, but so were the zombies. As he was counting the numbers, one sneaks up behind him, but his quick reaction saved him this time. Thinking better of it and not dealing with a little horde, the stragglers were the much better option. A resting point was still not found and tiredness was setting in. Luck was finally on his side, a building with everything he would need to survive, except for food. There was also one resident that wasn't willing to give it up without a fight. Sheets were found and used as makeshift curtains, but not enough for the whole building. Clarence prioritised the room that he had claimed as his own. Before heading to bed, he washed all of the blood from the day's adventure, and then got some much needed rest.